This is one of the most profitable strategies, how you can make money online this year. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can earn amounts like this. And as you can see, this is somebody charging this amount on Fiverr itself. So guys, can you imagine how much we can charge and how much money we can make with this niche? So what we're gonna be making, guys, we're gonna be making pitch deck designs and presentations, okay? We're gonna be pitching this to business people. As you can see, these specific presentations are specifically catered for people looking to raise money for a small business, for a startup. As you can see, there's pages talking about market research, pages talking about the trends of the industry, about growth. With this specific niche, you can make a lot of money, and I'm going to walk you through step-by-step process how to actually get into this, how to get your foot in the door and start getting orders like this. And if you think, oh, this is just one, let's look at another one. For example, let's look at this. The premium version is 1,500. This guy is going to give you 35 slides. You know, the standard version is $800. And the basic version, which doesn't even feature any market research, is $200. Let's look at another one, 1,485. This includes content from scratch, design, and market research, guys. And we can go further and further. And these amounts are all high. As you can see, there's 5 orders in the queue there, 2 orders in the queue there. We have 6 orders in the queue there, guys. And we've got 4 orders in the queue there. So this niche, it's an absolute goldmine, guys. I've actually showed this niche. I've spoken about it in one of my previous videos this year. But today, I'm going to be going through step by step how to make money in this and how anybody, if you're not a graphic designer, you can make money in this niche. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, guys. So without any further ado, let's get started. So the first thing we need to talk about, guys, is we need to talk about the numbers. You know, what are we making? I already told you, we're making pitch deck specifically for startups looking to raise funding. Guys, anybody can come up with this kind of idea, but in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the numbers and I'm gonna show you exactly what kind of suppliers to use and how to get clients for this very, very specialized niche. And why are people charging such huge amounts for this niche? Well, because it's specialized. It's actually a niche. It's super specialized. So for example, if we go back to the main page on this category, you have to go to the business tab, okay? And then you can find the pitch deck section here. So it's not even in graphic design, it's in the business section. And look at the number of services available, just 758. This is one of the lowest number of competition that you'll ever find on Fiverr. And also look at some of these amounts. They're absolutely huge for Fiverr because prices are usually way higher outside of Fiverr. But in this specific case, guys, I want to make this super simple. So I don't want to be charging like way more than what Fiverr is charging. I want to charge similar kind of prices. That way we can easily get clients, and I'm going to show you how to get them. So first of all, guys, what I want you to focus on, I want you to focus on this. We're going to be reselling this, okay? So we're not going to be getting our hands dirty in graphic design. We're not going to touch any of these slides. We're not going to do any market research. All of this is going to be outsourced to suppliers, guys, okay? So, but you need to understand what are we doing, okay? You need to fully understand, because if somebody wants to get on a call so you can talk to them about their existing pitch deck, or you want to talk to them about, you know, what kind of price you can offer and stuff like this, you need to understand what is the service that you're actually, you know, what you're actually offering and why they need that service. So as I mentioned already, it is for startups looking to raise funding. And in today's climate, it's actually not easy to raise funding. Even raising a few $100,000 is not that easy, guys, okay? Couple of years ago, average startup in Silicon Valley could raise a couple of million, few million easily on the back of simple PowerPoint presentation with a good team. Nowadays, it's a lot harder. And these pitch decks is something that, you know, investors see before they even talk to the team, right? So they get sent this pitch deck usually by email, and then, you know, they'll review it. If they like it, they'll give a call. That's why these pitch decks are so expensive, because this is a gateway for that startup, for that small business to actually raise funding. And guys, what you really need to understand is how many slides do these pitch decks actually need. So I've been a tech founder a couple of times myself, so I know really well how this service works, and I've actually bought this service from a provider myself in the past few years ago, and I paid a lot of money for making this kind of pitch deck. So I'm a target market as well. So I know this industry inside out. I know the startup market really well. And more than 20 slides, you absolutely don't want to do. If your client is insisting on 30, 40, 50, or even more slides, this is not a good idea, and you can just subtly tell the client on the call or by email, however you end up talking to them, that, look, my recommendation is you go for 10 to 20 slides. Of course, guys, if you make them 100 slides, then, the price that you're going to make and the profit that you're going to make is going to be higher, but realistically, it's not a good look. You need to be an expert. So when you talk to them on a call, you need to say, look, 10 to 20 slides is what I recommend, because more than that, your investors are just not going to look at those slides. And of course, guys, we're going to be finding a supplier who is going to do this for us. So where do we actually get suppliers for 50 to 150 bucks who can make a pitch deck in a PowerPoint or PDF at that kind of price point? And you can do that on Fiverr, I'm telling you guys. Now, why some of these examples that I gave you charging ridiculous rates? And are there cheaper ones? Yes, there are. So we want you guys to pay around $50 to $150 for somebody to make that pitch deck even from zero. We're not even talking about the remaking of clients' existing pitch deck. We're talking about a completely brand new one. Okay, and how can we get these kind of numbers? Surely, the examples that I gave you were quite expensive, right? Most of these people are charging way, way, way more. But you need to focus on suppliers from Pakistan and India primarily. And these guys do this kind of stuff a lot cheaper. Have a look at this one. 3 orders in the queue. He has 5-star ratings, and he has pretty good PowerPoint and pretty good pitch deck designs on here. I don't see any problems with this. This looks absolutely really, really good to me. If you're using people from the Western world, from the UK, United States, all these pitch deck designers who are also doing research, they are absolutely going to charge huge amounts. Okay, so there's not going to be any arbitrage. That's why we need to focus on Indian and Pakistani and similar kind of suppliers. For example, this guy, he does design, content, and market research, 20 fully editable slides for just 50 bucks. He has 5 revisions as well. And as you can see, this can be higher, so up to 150. And if you go through this entire 758 supply, you will find other people offering this at 50 bucks, 150 bucks, 100 bucks, 95 bucks. So there is definitely suppliers. I know this because I'm involved in that industry. So I know that it is possible to get it done for that much, but only with sellers from Pakistan and India. Now, in resale price, this is the interesting part, guys. This is where we actually make the bucks, right? This is one of the most profitable niches that I've ever spoken on this channel. Here's a caveat though, guys. We usually are going to work with the clients maybe once, twice, maximum 3 times. Okay, so these clients are not like recurring clients that they're gonna come back to us, gonna come back to us. No, but the good thing about this specific business is that if you get a good client, for example, from the United Kingdom, United States, Australia, whatever, well, UK and United States are really like the 2 hubs where startups actually begin, and it's full of startups pretty much, right? If you get a really decent client, you do a good job for them, guys, honestly, I'm telling you, they're gonna bring their friend over, a startup fellow, whoever, somebody from the startup space, we're gonna say, this is brilliant. I want this. Tell me who made this, right? And they're going to bring you their friend. And that's how you're going to make the next order. So you just need your foot in the door. You need 2 or 3 clients, and then, you grow through referrals. So it doesn't have a recurring nature, this specific niche, but this niche is very, very likely to bring you referrals. Okay, that's why it's extremely good and it's super profitable, guys. Honestly, I just showed you quite a lot of different sellers on Fiverr who have orders in the queue, and the rates that they're selling same as what I'm suggesting to sell at. So you can see that this is realistic, guys. These are realistic numbers. Okay, and what is the profit? So between $400 to $1,350 if we're charging this much, okay? And these are actually realistic numbers, guys. I'm telling you, I've worked in startups. It is super realistic to pay over $1,000 for a pitch deck. 100%. In fact, some startups, if they are in the Series A, for example, looking to raise Series A or Series B, they pay 5 to 10K for pitch deck and a little bit of strategy and maybe some market research. 5K very often. Very often. So I'm telling you, these numbers are absolutely super realistic. 100%. Okay, even for small startups, they could easily pay $500 to $1,000. Of course, this is a lot easier because if we're remaking of a client's pitch deck, it is of course much easier because we have some content to base our research on, or we have some content to even remake, maybe to make better design, maybe to reduce the slides, increase the slides, or whatever. But you get the point, guys. Remaking is of course a cheaper service. It takes less time. But guys, here I wrote the cost as being exactly the same because usually, remaking also takes time because client might have 30 slides, for example, and the client wants it to shrink it to 10 slides. It's not that easy. It might even be the same amount of work to just make those slides from scratch. So there is a lot of variations and variables in there, but that's why I'm saying you guys cost between 50 to 150, same cost, and the resale price here is going to be lower, guys, because of course we're not making a pitch deck completely from scratch for somebody who was looking to raise funding. So between $400 to $650, this is what I want you guys to charge. I don't care that some people on Fiverr are charging more, but what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to start with these kind of lower prices, okay? And if you find some success, if you find a few startups who you make these pitch decks for, they hopefully bring some referrals to you, and hopefully you can then raise the price a little bit and make a lot more money, guys. As I said, this niche is absolute gold mine for referrals. Between $350 to $500 you can make from just one client, guys. And of course, these kind of clients are harder to come by, especially ones who are going to pay $1,500, guys. Another point, if you're looking to charge over $1,000, it is no longer like an impulse buy. So you're always going to have to get on a call with the startup founder or chief financial officer or a marketing officer or somebody who's actually going to talk to you and ask, can you show me some examples? What kind of software do you use? Things like that. So they just want to see that you're legit. And, because obviously it's quite a lot of money. So they really want to know that, they're going to get that work delivered. And here's the thing, guys. So these numbers look great, but how many clients are there and how to actually find startup owners, startup founders, CEOs, CMOs, how to find these people? Because it's very easy to think in our head, oh, this is great. We can just make pitch deck for startup owners, but where do you actually find them? Well, that's the hard part. And in this video, as usual, I'm giving you the complete step-by-step strategy. So I'm going to give you the place and the exact people, and there's going to be tens of thousands of them, how to find them, what to offer them, and also I'm going to give you a template as well, what to send to them. So guys, let's talk about another thing before we go there. So what I want you guys to do, if you want to succeed in this specific niche, a lot of you guys are interested in graphic design and specifically reselling graphic design services, because graphic design, unlike video editing, unlike web design, is a super simple thing, right? There's no moving parts. It's just a static image. And in the case of what we're talking about, it's just a static PowerPoint or PDF presentation, right? So, and it is not that difficult to even learn this stuff yourself. So you could actually become a pitch deck designer yourself, but this is a topic for another video because I mostly focus on people who are going to be reselling this stuff. Okay. So of course, guys, if you're, designing this yourself, then you're going to just make all this profit for yourself. There's hardly any costs. But what I want you guys to do is I want to really go through all of these 758 services. As you can see, this category isn't that broad. Like, for example, SEO category has tens of thousands of suppliers. This is a much broader niche. But in this niche, you can make a lot of money because there is hardly any competition. And as you can see, even the top sellers, they're having like 200, 150, whatever feedbacks, not very many. And every single seller that I showed you has orders in a queue and multiple orders in a queue with very few feedbacks. So what I want you guys to do is I want to really study all of this niche. It's not that many pages because only 750 listings. It's going to be maybe, I don't know, 20 or 15 or 20 pages on here. So study all of these pages and then you'll know exactly what the service is and you're going to be fully prepared for the next stage, guys. Okay. Now, how do we actually find clients? Now, this is the hardest part, and this is the part that I'm going to be revealing you in this video. And a lot of people can just say, oh, it's easy, just resell some graphic design. Well, what does that mean? And in this channel, I always, guys, give you not just the niche. I tell you how to find the suppliers, what to look for in those suppliers, but I always tell you how to find clients. That's why this channel is giving you so much alpha to make money, and that's why so many people are making money with my videos. So I'm going to be focusing on the UK market because most of my business career has been focused around the UK and specifically London. So I'm going to be talking about how to find these clients in the UK. But the entire process is very, very similar when it comes to the United States. And I think you should be focusing on UK and the United States for finding these startup founders and CEOs to get them to make pitch decks. Okay, so first strategy is we're going to be using search. Okay, type these three letters in, EIS. Okay, this is a LinkedIn account, by the way, guys. If you don't follow me on LinkedIn, go on LinkedIn, type my name in, Tom Zalatoris, and send me a connection request or follow me. I've got a very established LinkedIn account. I haven't been posting for a while, but here, guys, this is really important that you have a LinkedIn account. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, set one up now. Add your picture, fill in all the information, fill in your work and stuff like this. And once you actually have a LinkedIn account, you can then use the strategy, use the search, etc. So these three letters, what do they actually mean? To people outside of the UK or to people outside of the startup ecosystem, they probably mean absolutely nothing, but I'm going to tell you what they mean. So EIS and these four letters, SEIS, is a government-sponsored scheme in the United Kingdom. If you invest in a startup, you can actually qualify for tax write-off. So for example, if you invest, let's say, £100,000 into a specific startup, you can actually qualify for paying less taxes that year. And if the startup actually fails, you can then write off even more and qualify to not pay tax on that year when the startup fails. SEIS is also a very similar model, which is actually for even earlier stage startups, okay? And with SEIS, the amounts are even greater. So usually if the startup completely fails, then you can get a kickback in the first year. And usually if the startup fails, for example, 2 or 3 years later, you can get back in taxes that you have to pay upwards of, I think, 70 or 80%, something like that. So really, really high amount. It reduces the risk for these investors. So that's why people put these letters in their LinkedIn profiles when they're raising money. Okay, raising money for a startup. So as you can see, this first guy raising SEIS, EIS, and these 3 and 4 letters, they primarily apply to people residing in the United Kingdom. Okay, so these are not these don't mean much in, let's say, United States, New York, whatever. This is specific to United Kingdom, okay? If you find a similar kind of scheme, if it exists in the United States, you can drop those letters in the search, and maybe you can find something similar in the United States. But for the purposes of this video, it doesn't even matter. Like, let's say you live in, I don't know, South Africa, or you live in the United States, wherever you live, or India maybe, right? You can actually send messages to these people and you can actually offer them to create pitch decks. It doesn't really matter that you don't live in the UK. What matters is that we can find them easily by using my strategy, by typing these letters, okay? So as you can see, guys, so this guy is raising funding right now. He went as far as, adding this into his name, okay? So he's currently raising SEIS, EIS right now, okay? And we know that he's basically looking to raise money. And what most startups looking to raise money needs? They need either a pitch deck made from zero, so they don't have a pitch deck at all, or they are struggling to raise money sometimes and they just want a remake of their existing pitch deck, guys, redesign. So this is one of the keywords that you can use, and you can go through some of these pages and find people who have this listed in their profile. Now, we can also type in this SEIS as well. Have a look. So this guy is actually raising SEIS and EIS, okay? Let's go down. Currently fundraising, SEIS, SEIS, okay? This guy, these are people who are investors, but we are looking for people looking to raise money, okay? As you can see, there is absolutely tons of people seeking investment, SEIS, EIS available. Let's go down. Seeking SEIS. As you can see, there's just countless and countless of people, okay? So, one group, FinTech, and he is working there. So, currently, he is raising a pre-seed round at SES. SES is available. And here as well, fundraising, okay? SES Advanced Assurance. This means that they have assurance that they'll get SES. They're raising money right now, I'm telling you. Okay, let's look at this. They didn't even bother saying fundraising. They just put these two different acronyms. Again, SES, ES, available. So as you can see, guys, there's absolutely tons and tons of small business owners. So this guy is doing some drinks company. This guy is doing some health training company. This guy is doing a beer and independent cider retailer or something like that. She's doing something like a tech startup. So as you can see, there's absolutely tons and tons and tons of people, actually more so than this. So SEIS has a lot higher number of people and also much more targeted to people actually raising SEIS right now. Look, currently raising SEIS, fundraising SEIS. Exactly, more people. Honestly, guys, you can go through these pages, hundreds and hundreds of pages. Look, 400,000 results. Obviously, not every single one are fundraising right now, but you can find a lot of these people, okay? So what do you do then? So when you actually find somebody who you think could be a good target, and for example, this guy, he's a co-founder and CEO, so he's the right man. He can make a decision to spend, let's say, $1,000, which is around 900 something pounds or maybe more, on a pitch deck design or redesign. So what you can do is you click connect and you can add a note. And in the note, guys, I want you to copy this. We're going to talk about this message later. Drop it in here. You have to personalize the names of these people because we can see his name on LinkedIn and we're talking about a potentially huge profit. So, you have to be really tailoring all these messages. So, hi Tanesh, I just noticed your profile on LinkedIn and I'm wondering how's your startup fundraising going. I happen to be a pitch deck designer focusing on early stage startups. You can see some of my example pitch decks here and then we're going to make the portfolio later. Okay, and then we can post this link in there and then you click send. You can actually invite 100 people per week. This is the limit that LinkedIn imposes, but actually, usually at the first days of the next month, you also get some additional allowance. So, for example, on the first or second of each new month, usually you can invite additional 100 or 150 people. This is what usually happens. But the general thing is that you have about 100 invitations that you can do per week. So as you can imagine, guys, you can actually reach out to 400 people with one LinkedIn account. So if you can create another LinkedIn account, for example, for your friend or whatever, because usually these LinkedIn accounts they have to kind of be real because LinkedIn will not allow you to use it if you just create like completely random accounts. So usually there has to be a real name. So you could create a LinkedIn account for somebody that, for example, your family member who's not using it or whatever, and then you can actually add any experience that you like or whatever, and then you can use two of these accounts to then reach out to 800 people per month, which is a lot higher, guys. Okay, so I just described to you guys how you can use this specific strategy on LinkedIn, which is great, right? Because as I showed you guys, this is exactly getting the people who have these two phrases, EAS and SEIS, on their profile. So it is super targeted. There's like, all these people are extremely targeted for needing a pitch deck. But guys, there is another thing that I want you guys to show. What you can also do is you can use this specific keyword as well, raising SEIS. If you do that, there's going to be less results, but almost all of these people are super targeted. So there's 1,300 potential clients that you can contact right now. Okay, most of them, as we discussed, are going to be from the United Kingdom. So as you can see, SES available, SES available, SES available, raising money. Everybody's raising money. Okay, so this is another very good one. And then you can do the variation of it as well. Raising EIS. Again, the same thing, guys. Almost everybody on here is going to be actually raising a round right now. So guys, I just show you how to find literally thousands of people who are actually right now starting businesses and raising funding right now. So for example, this keyword is giving you 400,000 people. Absolute ridiculous amount. Okay, and then guys, with these potential clients, is there another way to contact them? Yes, there is. And we're going to be sending them emails. I'm going to show you how to get their emails as well, guys. Okay, but before we do that, we need to create our portfolio to do with this pitch decks, right? So what I want you guys to do is I want you to create an account on this website called behance.net, okay? And just add your name, and this, you're gonna get a URL like this. So basically, what we're trying to do, guys, is we're trying to create a pitch deck portfolio that we can use to then send to these potential clients, because they wanna see what kind of examples we can provide, right? Before they want to work with you, they really want to see the examples. So for example, here, if I'm assessing this guy, for example, okay, show me examples. So what we're going to be doing, guys, is we're going to copy this image, go to Paint, Control V, crop. And what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to get around, I don't know, 5 to 10 examples. We're going to source a portfolio from Fiverr, and then we're going to upload it all onto Behance. And then once we have that link, I can then talk about email marketing to these people. So let's do that right now. So we've got our first example. And this guy is actually pretty good. So 3 orders, 64 reviews, and this guy is from Pakistan. That's why it is a lot cheaper. But some of his examples are actually pretty good. I really like them. So let's copy these examples and let's create a portfolio out of this. Crop, save as. Pitch deck 2. Right, let's go back. See more examples. This is pretty good. Like, I really like this design. I think it's really good for the price that he's offering. It's a little bit pixelated, so I don't really like the quality of it. This is pretty good. Okay, copy image. Okay, crop, file, save as. Again, guys, as usual, I'm just giving you the principle. Of course, you can spend more time on these things and find like the best, examples that you can find. So, for example, this one, he made a pretty good job. If he charged like $50 or so, this is a really good value. Let's look at this one. Okay. Okay. You don't want this to be visible, so wait until it disappears. Copy image. Control N, Control V. File, save as. Pitch deck number 4. And of course, guys, you need to make these kinds of portfolio samples align really well. So when you make the Behance portfolio, it has to look good, of course, guys. Like, you know, this looks pretty good. Honestly, this looks pretty good. I don't like one specific thing. Example, this image, I can see it's a little bit distorted, but you can, before sending to the client, you can always tell your supplier that, look, this image is distorted. I can see why he made it like that, so it can fit well into this page, but that's not really good. So you would have to, like, you know, drag it like this so it's not distorted. But the actual presentation looks quite good to me. And another thing that I guys usually specify is, if you find a good supplier, right, you think the price is good, you think the portfolio is actually good, you need to write down the name of the supplier, or you have to save the supplier like this. So save to the gigs that you like, and then once somebody comes back to you and says, look, I'm interested in working with you, you can ask, which portfolio sample did you see, and you know, which one do you want me to make similar. The reason why this is important, so that you can come back to the same seller where you took his portfolio. So what you can do is you can save it like this, or you can write down the name of the seller in the actual file name. You know, so for example, here you can write down the name of the seller, which is Sumar, right? And then you can easily go to your saved list and find this seller very, very quickly, guys. And then you can, of course, order it from here. So ideally, guys, if you're using someone's portfolio, use that seller specifically. Right, so I think this seller is actually pretty good. As you can see, the prices are really low, and he's from Pakistan. That's how he's able to afford it. So now we have quite a lot of different pieces. We have 6 different portfolio pieces that I'm going to be uploading on here. Click on Create Project. Click on Image here. Then locate the files and click on the first one. Continue. Just use graphic design. Here you need a description and name. So pitch deck sample 1. But actually startup. Let's add the word startup. Startup pitch deck example 1. Or even better, portfolio. That sounds a lot better to me. Startup pitch deck portfolio 1. Leave it open to everybody. And then click publish. Now, the first one is now published. This is great, guys. Now that the first portfolio piece is uploaded, let's share more. Click on this share your work and click on project. Once this loads, click on image again. Add the next file that you want to upload. Click on continue. Here, just add 3, choose graphic design, and click publish. So the next one is done. Repeat the same thing again for all the files that you want to upload. How many pieces of files do you need to upload, guys? Honestly, with this kind of thing, unlike with video editing, you want to show a lot more examples. So I would recommend that you actually add at least 10 different examples, okay? Because the bigger this portfolio is, the more chances that your clients will think that you're actually have been doing this for a long time, even if you're reselling someone's work, but it's just going to look a lot better, guys, okay? And we are not trying to catch their attention with just one video like we usually do with video editing. In here, it's a bit different. Like if they actually end up looking at this portfolio, chances are they're going to be seriously considering it, because I told you guys, this niche is not very crowded. In fact, it has very, very little competition, and it is extremely profitable for the most cases. Right, so we are pretty much done with our uploading. The final file is now uploaded, guys. This is awesome. So now we're going to look at how our portfolio actually looks right now. Let's go to the main page so we can see that. This is great, guys, okay? So let's go to the incognito browser and see how it looks for people who are not logged in, we're just visiting this page, okay? So this is how it would look like, okay? And guys, here's the thing. I know that this doesn't look like amazing and these kind of portfolio pieces could look better. Maybe the cuts could be better. For example, this is like cutting out, so it doesn't look like that perfect. And of course, we need way more examples, guys. As I told you, we need probably 10 examples or better 20 examples, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to give you the actual principles. So you can, of course, go on Fiverr, review all those 700 listings and find the best sellers, the best suppliers that you can then take them portfolio, and don't actually use more than 2 or 3 people, really, because with just 2 suppliers, it's going to be super simple when you get a client to then ask, which piece did you like? And if somebody says, oh, I liked this one, for example, then you can easily just go back to that supplier who you took it from and then order the pitch deck design from him. So as you can see, this is how the portfolio would look like to somebody who was not logged in. And most people are actually not going to be using Behance. All these startup founders and stuff, they're not going to have the account, so they're going to see it like that. So they can open it, they can actually look at it, and stuff like this, guys. Okay, so now that we've got this portfolio fully completed, you can add a banner image. So something like pitch deck designer, your name, or pitch deck designs for you, or something like that, or just startup pitch deck designs. So you can make this with Canva, and it's optional because if you're not logged in, it's just not going to show any banner. But it would be nice to have something like startup pitch deck designer text or something like that. So this is optional, and I leave it up to you if you want to have this. So guys, and here's the thing. So this is the message. Okay, I'm gonna copy this message quickly in here so you can see it. So, hey, first name, I just noticed your profile on LinkedIn and I'm wondering how's your startup fundraising going. I happen to be a pitch deck designer focusing on early stage startups. You can see some of the examples of my pitch decks here. And then of course, this is the link that we just got from Behance website, right? It's there. So it's the same link. I already had it pasted in there. And if you're interested in pitch deck design or redesign service, let me know. So this text we also going to be using for the emails. And I just showed you guys how to actually get people's contacts from LinkedIn. So you can message them on LinkedIn. But what about if we want to send them an email? Like, how do we get their email, guys? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Because most of the time, these people are going to be CEOs, founders, and similar kind of people, you can usually find out the website. Okay. Let's try to do this. Let's look at this page. This is the page where most of the time you can very, very quickly find a website. Trainify.me. I think this is a domain name without even going any further. Yes, exactly. Personal trainers near you in London's best venues. So he is the founder and CEO of this specific startup. Now, how do we find their contact information? Well, usually it's in the About Us, or sometimes at the very bottom, there is a contact form, okay? And sometimes you can actually find their email information very, very simple like that. So, for example, the email that we have here is called malcolm@trainify.me. Let's see what's the name of the founder. Is it Malcolm as well? I can't remember. Yeah, it's the same guy, guys. This is amazing. We just got the email address of the founder himself in about 1 minute, guys. This is absolutely incredible. So we just drop in this email, and in the title or subject, I want you to write regarding your EAS round, or if it's SEIS, you can type in regarding your SEIS round, okay? if he sees that, if Malcolm sees that, he's going to open this email 100% because he is raising money right now. Okay. And you're asking him about this SEIS round. Of course, he's looking to raise money, right? He wants to make money as quickly as possible to get the funding for his business to actually take off. So, of course, he's going to open this email, right? And here we want to, of course, personalize that as well. Yeah, so we've added his name, and the same kind of thing applies because we found him on LinkedIn. In this strategy, entire strategy is based on LinkedIn because most of the startup founders actually hang out on LinkedIn. That's why don't change this LinkedIn thing, even though we found his email from the website, but just leave it as it is, guys, okay? And the rest of the text is exactly the same, right? So guys, and I just showed you one example, but let's look at another example because you might think like, oh, this was super easy. Maybe it's not that easy in general, but okay, let's look at a few more examples. Maybe we can find more email addresses. Let's look at this one. So usually you're going to go to the page on LinkedIn, and sometimes it actually has this button called visit website. The previous example didn't have it, so this one is even easier. But of course, we never know how we're gonna actually, what we're gonna find on these websites. So in this case, I can see a team page. Let's go to the team page. And there is the LinkedIn profile, but there is no emails. So let's click on this. Okay, so there's a contact form, right? So we can actually contact them. So there is no email that we can actually get to send an email, but there is a contact form. So what we can do here is we can leave, for example, some kind of a short message in there, and we can leave our email address and click submit. It's going to be seen by them 100%. Because with these kind of small startups, they actually do read every single email. Even if it goes to spam, they usually do read it. Okay, let's look at more examples. Let's look at this. So she's been working on this startup for 3 years. Again, visit website. Okay, so this is there right now. So it's basically like kind of like a marketplace for food. Okay, so some really fresh food from direct from producers, as far as I see, local businesses and stuff like that. Okay, let's see if we can get their contact information. Well, first of all, we have this email. Okay, so we can just send it there. And usually most of the time you can actually find a team page on these kind of websites because it's small startups, emerging businesses. So usually they have a team page, but this specific one actually doesn't have it. Okay. But let's, for example, look at this page. Maybe we can find a team page on there. So, yes, there's the 2 founders, but there is no team page. So that's the only email where we can send it. So if we're sending to this email, then what we're going to do is we delete that, we copy this email in there, and of course, we remove the name and we just say, hey, I just noticed your profile, all the same things. And don't worry that you're sending it to generic email because, guys, honestly, with these kind of small companies that have 10 to 50 people, usually they read every single email because they're tiny companies. They read all the emails 100%. This is not like, it's some huge company. Okay, let's look at another example. So, for example, this one, okay? So, Paolo Farina. This is an Italian guy, probably. All right, so let's look at this one. Contact us. Okay, when you click contact us, it goes to their page. Is there a team page on there or a contact page? Let's see. Team page or a contact page. Contact us, email. Okay, so what is the email? We're gonna see in a second. So if you actually hover over this page, look at the bottom. It says paolo@revisepal.com. So it's basically his first name at revisepal.com. So guys, we took just a couple of minutes to find the next one. Paolo at revisepal.com is the next email. We found it already, guys. And, I know it takes a little bit of time to find these emails, and it takes some manual work. But guys, look at the payback, right? Look at the payback. So, for example, with some of these businesses, you can actually get between $400 to $1,350. Realistically, I'm talking about real numbers, guys, here. Okay, people are paying that much money. When I was paying a marketing agency, when I was a startup owner a few years ago, to actually make a pitch deck and do some marketing, it was a process more than just the pitch deck, but the pitch deck itself, I remember it was probably something like that as well. So between maybe 1,000 to like 2,500, something like that in pounds as well. So it was actually probably around 1,500 minimum for just the pitch deck itself. So this is an expensive service, okay? And I'm telling you guys, people are paying money for this stuff. This is a highly profitable niche. So what I suggest you guys to do is not to cheap out in this niche. What I suggest you guys is to really contact a lot of people. So you can get their email. I showed you how to do it, right? And you can contact them on LinkedIn, and sometimes you can search their company names on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and then you can message the pages as well of their companies. It's not as good as finding their email, but you can do that as well. And I want you guys to focus on at least $500. So one client, if you get a client, at least $500 should be in pure profit coming into your pocket, okay, after all the costs. And ideally more than that, but at least $500. And as you can see in both of these niches, $500 is really, really achievable, guys, even with these, remake of pitch deck clients as well. I'm not even talking about this one. This one, you should be trying to make $600 to $900 minimum in profit. So guys, I hope that you like this niche, and I really, really hope that you like this strategy, because honestly, guys, some of you who are gonna take action on this specific niche is gonna make at least a few $1,000s in the next few months. 100%. I'm telling you guys. And when you do that, drop a message under my YouTube videos. I love seeing these kind of comments where people are saying, I made this much, I made that much. I now have probably seen around 10 messages like that. So the highest number I've seen, somebody posted that he made $10,000. I showed this comment a couple of videos ago, guys. So this is really, really amazing. So if you like these kind of strategies, guys, drop a like for the YouTube algo, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to see you in the next video.